We grew up believing that we are in a realm that was created for us to thrive, to reach high levels of awareness, to enjoy, to love, to evolve, to learn. But as we get older, we start to realize that something is not right. In the beginning, we won't be able to understand what's not right about this world. But the more we pay attention, the more we try to unprogram our minds, the more we try to detach ourselves from this illusion, from this matrix, from this scripted reality, the more we realize that the world is actually the opposite of what we thought. We're actually in a hell realm that was not designed for us to thrive, where we didn't really have a choice, where we have to fight against our natural instinct to actually set ourselves free. Where we have to unlearn everything that we were taught when we were young. What the majority of people in the world believe is false. So now you have to try to find out what the truth is yourself. This is the kind of world that we found ourselves in. I don't like being hopeless. It sucks feeling hopeless. As a human, you want to feel hopeful. That keeps you going, that keeps you healthy. But we need to be honest about the world that we have found ourselves in. The hell realm will continue to be hellish. Here's why. I want you to realize that the problem actually starts at conception. You have to understand that even though it seems like people choose to have sex, they are actually coerced. It may seem like you choose to have sex, but you're coerced. You getting horny. Not really a choice. You're not chilling one day and you're like, you know what, man, I want to be horny right now. That's why sometimes as a guy you could try to have sex with a woman and you just don't get horny. It's not a choice. Sometimes you just find yourself horny. Same for women. If a woman is not feeling you, she's not going to be wet. Sometimes a woman can just look at you and just feel like she really wants you. It's not a choice. I want you to understand that. There are a lot of young men who are addicted to gooning. They can't even control their sexual urge. And you know why? Because we are not really in control. We are coerced. There's young men who be like, you know what, man, I don't want to goon ever in my life. If they go for a week without gooning, they feel so happy. Like, yo, I'm doing it. And then, 20 days later, back to their old habits, mad at themselves. That shows you how powerful nature is. Sometimes I look at animals and be like, do they even know how they even have offsprings? Like, do they know that it starts from sex, or they just have sex, maybe for pleasure, it feels good, and then months later they have an offspring and they don't know what caused it. I remember I watched this video on TikTok. This lady was holding a dog. It's a small dog, and she was like, I feel sorry for this dog. It's my dog. It's been knocked up, and I don't know if it knows what's going on, you know. And she was asking the dog, who got you pregnant? And you'd see that that dog doesn't really know what happened. It's just found itself pregnant, and it's gonna have puppies, and there's gonna be hormones that will be released to make it love the puppies. And you know, like we are coerced. We don't really have like a free choice, let me put it that way. Like there's a lot of manipulation that's going on, that's leading to us behaving the way that we behave as humans. So to win, it seems like we need to detach ourselves from our needs. It's like, oh yeah, I feel horny and I want to have sex, but you be like, nope. Ish, you know what I mean? I feel like I want to love a baby, bro. Like, baby, you detach yourself. Ish, I'm in love. Yeah, I'm in love. That guy is handsome. You detach yourself. Ish, that girl, man. Look at, ish, you detach yourself. In a world where people are coerced into having sex by nature, more like they're compelled, and sex leads to conception, things won't go that well. You see, if this realm was good, people will have a baby when they really, 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 really want to. They're not manipulated in any way. There are no hormones that are released that make them feel a certain way, that make them feel like they must have babies. You know what I'm saying? Like they just want to. It's like that's what they just want. Like it's what really makes sense. So you just be chilling with maybe your partner that you chose, not because of some chemical reaction in your brain or any of that. You just looked at that person and you're like, you know what, man, this is a good person for me. I like how this person thinks. This person is smart. You know, me and this person can get along very well. You are thinking rationally. You don't just see a person and then now you have these feelings. You find that you and that person are not compatible, but you just want to have sex with them. Like, no. You think thoroughly and like, oh, this is the right person for me. You know, there's a reason why a lot of people, you know, are giving up on relationships, because they're realizing that it's just chemicals in our brains that make us love people, but we don't even know, and we just think that love is something special, you know, something deep, but it's just feelings, and these feelings lead to reproduction, and that's what these feelings are about. So some people feel left out. If a person is not very attractive, if a guy is not very attractive and girls just don't like him and he's a good person, he has a good personality, he's not a hateful person, he's fair to people, and no girl likes him, and he's like, this is trash. Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of things that are happening in our brains that we're not even aware of that make us choose the people that we procreate with. So having a child would be something that people have to like really discuss before they even, you know, decide to have a child. Like, look at our situation. What do you think the child is going to benefit from us? Do you think that the child will not suffer? Do you think that we have enough to be able to take care of a child? What if the child has special needs? Are we going to be able to take care of the child? Is this the kind of environment where we should raise a child? Are we good? Are we good partners? You know, are we good partners that we can actually raise it? So this reminds me of this episode from South Park. I don't know. I don't remember the name of the episodes, but I think it was the fourth graders. They were given. They were chosen to like the teacher would choose a kid and then choose their partner and say and give them an egg and say take care of that egg for the weekend. You know, that shows that you'll be good parents. Some of them weren't able to bring back the egg. Some of them had to steal some egg somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it was teaching them to think if they are going to be capable to raise a child. You know, because that's actually would be great if when they become adults they remember what the teacher was teaching them. So yeah, people will sit down and talk. Do we really qualify to have children, me and you, my love? Like, do we really qualify? You know, do we have the money? Are we living in the right kind of environment? What kind of lifestyle do we want to live? All of it. But people don't even think because they are coerced into having children because of what happens in their bodies that they don't even understand, and that leads to them having children. They're chilling together, they get horny, no condom, all of that. And sex is nice when you're not thinking too much. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't even think at the time. You're like, whatever, man. Like you just horny, you just want to release, and then boom, you knock someone out. And now, because of religion and all of that, and then, you know, she has to make sure that she has the baby. You know, people be like, well, if you didn't want to get pregnant, why did you have sex? Like, they don't understand how nature works. It's not like a person just decides out of nowhere that, oh, let me just go and have sex, and then they just have sex and they feel nothing. You know, bro, if you go for a week as a guy and you haven't released, you know that most women now become attractive. You go for 30 days without releasing, bruh. Every woman is attractive. Every woman is attractive, bro. You get drunk, you go to a club, you're not even thinking straight. You know, it's kind of like it makes you drunk. Like the hormones are making you drunk, basically. You know, when you're drunk, you don't think straight sometimes, right? So it's kind of like that. It's like they just make you drunk, and now you just want to release, you know? That's what nature does to us. So if the foundation of life seemed to be kind of like corrupt in some way, how can you expect this realm to be good? It seems like there's corruption from the beginning. And when you are born, the corruption begins. You get indoctrinated, brainwashed, forced to adopt values that are not even yours, that might not even make sense to you. Values that you might question when you're still young, but those who came before you, because they're already brainwashed, they're against you questioning things. You do understand that someone like me grew up in a community where asking if God exists was a sin. People will think there's something wrong with you. People will think that you are insane. Asking if Jesus really died for our sins, or if things that are written in the Bible are true, that is a sin, a serious sin. That should tell you that there's something wrong. It's important to ask. There's a reason why when, for an example, someone commits a crime, they have to go to court, and there are a lot of people who are questioning them. Maybe not even a lot of people, even if it's just one person. But they are being asked questions so that they can prove their innocence, right? Did you just stand in court and be like, well, I didn't do it, and just believe me because, well, I'm saying that I didn't do it? So if they are telling us about things that have happened in the past, but the story doesn't seem to add up very well, then we do have the right to ask, because we know that we live in a realm where people can lie. So if we are discouraged from asking, don't ask. Don't even ask questions. Do not question God. You'll be like, huh? What are you talking about? What do you mean I'm questioning God? I don't see God standing next to me. I'm not questioning God, my nigga. I'm questioning I'm questioning what you're telling me because it's not making sense. I'm questioning what you're saying because it's not making sense. So the corruption starts. The corruption starts at conception, and then when you are born, it continues. You get brainwashed. If your spirit is in alignment with the truth, you are honest with yourself, and you're not. You're not allowing the matrix to consume you, to tell you what to think, how to feel. You're gonna have problems. You're gonna be mistreated. You suffer, and then they say that you have mental illnesses because they've treated you so badly because of how you think. Isn't that what happens? The black sheep of the family, the one who thinks right, the one who's honest, the one who speaks truth, the one who sees things as they are. Yeah, that's the one that you mistreat. That's the one that you believe that there's something that's not right with them, So you can't treat them right. And because you're not treating them right, and every human wants to be treated right, it hurts them. It keeps on hurting them. It keeps on hurting them. It keeps on hurting them until the pain is too much that it turns into a sickness. It makes them dysfunctional. And then you say they have a mental illness, but no. It was someone who was smart, someone who was able to see things as they are. So you broke them for being right, for being real, for being honest, for being truthful, for wanting real freedom, for realizing that something is not right and it needs to change. Some of y'all are so broken that you can't even function. So you look down on yourself. You just feel like, man, I can't even do anything. You don't realize that you were so ahead of your time and you are more capable than you think you are. It's just that you're broken because of how you were treated. You see, like this realm is a trap on every level. It's like if you truly want to be free, you have to escape every trap. That's why I've made videos telling y'all that it's important to choose love over fear. It's because I know most of y'all are better than you think you are. Like you are more capable than you think you are when it comes to a lot of things. Conquering your addictions, being able to live in love, not fear. You know what your soul wants. Think of how you were when you were a kid. What does your soul want? So you keep on following what your soul wants, right? You are in touch with your own soul. You're not listening to the body a lot. Like, the body gets horny, the body needs this, the body needs that. It's like, no. Now you want to be rational. Now you want to live life in a way that makes sense to your soul, not the body. The problem is there's always going to be people, like very few people who are going to be conscious enough to see if something is wrong. Always. If you're born in a village, you find that, let's just say it's a village of like maybe 5,000 people. There's less than 100 people who are actually conscious. So how are you gonna cope? Of course you're gonna be broken. Why? Because no one is like you. There are things that you understand that they don't understand. You know that if you had conversations with them, they would lose. Ever had a conversation, like a debate with them, they would lose. Like, ever had a debate with someone and you are like, what's wrong with people? And people will know that you're very intelligent. People will know that you're very right, but they can't explain it. Listen, some people just can't live life at your level. So they want life to be on their level. You get what I'm saying to you? So they know that you're right, but it's gonna take a lot for them to reach your level and maybe find some joy or some happiness or some form of satisfaction at your level. Like, it will just be like they just can't. You know what I'm saying? So they know, so they want the world to be, it's like if you've ever been to jail. Listen, jails can be better, right? The people who are making jail worse are the prisoners themselves. They're operating at a level so low that if you went to prison and you were like, you know what, man, like, what do we really want at the end of the day? What do we want? Do we want to be living in this place where we're not free? Where you're always scared when you're sleeping at night because someone might just come with a shank and use it on you. You're scared to take a shower because, well, don't drop the soap. You know what I'm saying? You're constantly scared. You know, when you're like, do we really want to live in that kind of environment? It's up to us to make this place a good place. But there are people who are operating at a level where that doesn't allow them to vibrate at a frequency that's the peaceful frequency, right? Where there's peace and people are not trying to do horrible things to one another. They can't exist. So they'll never agree with you. It can't work. Like, let's forget about gangs, bro. You watch American movies, like, yeah, there's many gangs. There's Mexicans, there's Puerto Ricans, there's Bloods and Creeps and all of that. You're like, come on, man, this can't be life. This can't be it. This can't be something that we're proud of, I remember Fat Joe said when Pac was in jail, they had Fat Joe say something negative about him. And the Puerto Ricans were like, oh, Fat Joe said this about Pac, so that means we gotta. And then Pac had to call Fat Joe. I don't know if this story is true, but Fat Joe says Pac had to call him and be like, yo, dude, like, the Puerto Rican, wanna do something to me, yeah, bro. Like, you gotta say something. And he had to call them and explain to them that no, there's no beef between me and Pac, we good. But you're like, damn, so because of something so small, people wanna kill other people because of that. So Fat Joe has a beef with Pac, it's a rap beef. So now the Puerto Ricans are like, yo, you're like, bruh, how can I be proud of being human if human beings are like that? It's like, you know what I'm saying? But it tells you that something is wrong, and it started at conception. Most of our feelings ain't even our own. We just find ourselves feeling these feelings that we can't even control. You can wake up feeling depressed one day and you just can't do anything and don't even know what's causing that. You just can't make yourself happy or, release the right chemicals. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine if you were able to do that? If you had that kind of power? You wake up in the morning, there's nothing that's interesting that is happening, but you're like, you know what, I want to be happy, so let me release chemicals that are going to make me feel happy. And then you release these chemicals and now you feel happy and you're just happy. Can you imagine, bro? Can you imagine? Nothing external is happening. You don't even care about the world, what's happening. You just be like, let me just release nice chemicals and just start dancing and you're just enjoying yourself. It's not like that. It's like something has to happen, and a lot of things that have to happen, they have to put others at a disadvantage. So you've got to win and someone has to lose, right? Obviously, for you to win, someone has to lose. So now someone has to feel negative emotions while you feel positive emotions. Do you see what the problem is? Do you see that this is a trap? And you're going to look at someone like Benedict and be like, oh, it depends on how you see things. It doesn't depend on how you think things. Just open your eyes. You realize that this is a hell realm, bro. Like, everything tells you that. And everything tells you that things ain't going to change because the corruption started at the beginning. You see, that's the real problem. The corruption started at the beginning. So the foundation of this reality is flawed. So of course it can't produce something that is really good. You see? There is no consent. You don't even have free will. You can't even choose what you really want to experience. It's like the fact that you can choose right now to go out and actually cause someone to feel pain without their consent, that should tell you something. That should tell you something. You can wake up and be like, well, I want someone to suffer today, so let me go and make that person suffer, and then you make them suffer. The fact that you have that kind of power tells you something. Like, it's a horrible world that we found ourselves in. Horrible realm that seems to be thriving from the negative experiences that we'll be having, not the positive experiences. You know, people rarely have positive experiences. Usually, when people think they're having positive experiences, they're just having peace, basically. You're like, okay, the day didn't really suck today. Nothing really bad happened, so it means I'm having a positive experience. I feel like nothing positive really happened, but a lot of negative things do happen to people. No matter how hard they try to make their lives positive, to have these positive experiences that everyone wants to have, I find that they continuously have negative experiences. So because the corruption started at the beginning, the whole thing is unfixable. So people just have to learn to detach themselves from the illusion. It's an illusion. All of it is an illusion. It's all made up. It's all scripted. It's not real, at least not in the way that you think it is. That you must also keep in mind. And it's not easy to live life as if this is not real. It's almost impossible. But try not to give it so much power. It's going to keep on wanting your energy. You know, it's going to keep on giving you different experiences to get your energy. But oh, this didn't work. All right, so let's try something else here. Okay, you were at a store and someone looked at you and did this. And it didn't work. It didn't work. Like, but like, okay, what can we try? Where can we try? What can we try? All right, no, I have an idea. His mom is gonna call him and say she's sick. That might work. Then it doesn't work. But like, okay, what can we try? There has to be something, bro. There has to be something. TikTok. You know what? Let's show him a video of someone criticizing the way that he lives life, or someone saying things that are so ignorant that it just makes him angry. Let's see. That didn't work. What can we try? Oh, I have an idea. Let's make him think negative thoughts. Let's just give him negative thoughts. That still didn't work. Okay. Here's my last idea. When he's sleeping, we're going to give him a nightmare. But we're going to get him. You know, when they're dreaming, they don't think straight. You know what I'm saying? So if he's too smart, it's fine. When he's dreaming, he's going to be dumb. You know, so he's going to believe what is happening, and he's not even going to think that it's a dream. So he's going to be releasing negative emotions, and then we're going to be good, you know, because we don't really have a choice right now. We're desperate. Yeah, and then, you release these negative emotions, and they feed off your negative energy because that's what they wanted. And when you wake up, you feel drained. Ever realize that when you have these messed up dreams, you wake up feeling drained? When you have a nightmare, you literally wake up feeling drained, bro. And even if it's not a nightmare, but if it's a dream that is bad, you wake up feeling drained. You can feel it. Have you ever felt? This is how I used to explain like when I was dealing with depression. It feels like, how do you explain it? Okay, it feels like your heart is in there. It feels like it's empty. right? It's empty and cold, kind of like that. So when you wake up, it feels that way, like it's empty and cold here. Like you're not full of life. You're not. There is no joy. There's no excitement. You know what I'm saying? It's the same as if you've just. If you, I was talking about gunning. So let's say you gun, you feel that you've lost a lot of energy. You do feel kind of empty, right? That's why you regret. So it's kind of like that. It's like when these beings get energy from you, you do feel it that you are empty. That is why I'm telling you that it does make sense to think that there are beings that are feeding over on negative energy. I'm not just trying to like, I'm not, I'm not trying to like be negative about this world, be like, oh yeah, there are beings that are feeding off negative energy that want, the Gnostics have been saying that there's been many people who say they've had near-death experiences who've said the same thing, who say don't go to the white light and all of that. But really, when you get angry, for real, you get seriously angry, you do feel it, that you've lost some energy. You do feel it. Like if you get seriously angry, even if after some time you start to feel better, you can still feel it that you've lost a lot of energy. Like you were not feeling the way that you're feeling before you got angry. Right, so that also tells you something. So yeah, man, it does seem that way to me, that this will continue to be hellish because it wasn't supposed to be good. Of course, because our souls want what is good, we will strive to create a better world, but we'll be manipulated in so many ways. That's why you find that there are people who believe in God, right? They believe in Christianity. They don't even say that the God that they believe in is evil, because they are so, you know what I'm saying? Like we're so brainwashed that we are being made to see half truth. So we try to do good, but the good that we're trying to do is causing damage, but we don't even realize that. That's how unconscious we are. So we try to do good, but the good that we're doing is causing a lot of damage. Because we want good things to happen, but we were not given like enough freedom to be able to make the right choices, to make good things to happen. Right, to cause good things to happen. We weren't given that level of freedom. We are very limited. It's only few people that are able to become free from their programming. But the problem is that because a lot of people are not free, now they're going to be against them. Like what Morpheus said in the movie The Matrix. He said that the people in the Matrix are your enemies. As long as they're not free, they are your enemies. Because anyone in the Matrix can be used. Because they're not free, they can be manipulated. A person in the Matrix can be used to hate you, they can be made to feel hatred for you. And if you don't believe this, I want you to think about your lives, like since you were a kid. Ever realize that when you went to new school, there was always someone who just hates you for no reason, and who wanted to make your life a living hell for no reason. Any place that you've stayed, there was always that person, that one person who's observing you, who's always criticizing you, who always has a problem with you. Always, in every class that you've been in, there was always that one person, right? It's like they're just programmed to hate you, always. In any relationship that you've been in, there was always that one person that's trying to ruin it. Always. It's how it works. So the Matrix can program people to hate you. The Matrix can program people to steal from you. The Matrix can program people to come into your life just to mess you up psychologically. So if a person is not free, then they're still your enemy in a way. Even if they're not your enemy at the moment, they can turn against you. The Matrix can turn them against you. You see, but if a person is really conscious, even if the Matrix tries to turn them against you, there will still be healing. And what do I even mean? Let's say, for example, you get into a relationship with someone who's very unconscious, and then the Matrix manipulates you Oh, in fact, let me put it this way. Let's just say you get into a relationship with the person that's actually conscious, and then the matrix manipulate that person, right? And make that person maybe mistreat you or say things that are hurtful, and then you you feel a lot of pain. That person, because they're conscious, they will be able to reflect and be like, okay, look, I don't know what came over me. I don't know why I said that. I didn't mean it. You know, I think what caused me to say that. You remember when I told you about free will? I said we don't have free will, but we can try to understand why we behave the way that we behave. So you can understand that, oh, it's the matrix trying to make me, and this is not about not taking accountability, but it's about understanding yourself. Yes, you cannot be perfect all the time. Like, you are dealing with things that you don't even see, right? So sometimes you will flop, sometimes you will make mistakes, but because you're conscious, you'll be able to see that, but I was in the wrong. Then you go back to that person and say, look, it's not how I want to be to you. It's not how I want to treat you. It just happened that way, and I'm trying my best to work on my own healing so that stuff like this never happen again. And you know, there will be healing. You will heal together with that person, because also that person won't be perfect. But if you're dealing with someone who's unconscious, they'll just be used by the matrix to do you wrong, and it messes you up forever. And they'll never even apologize or try to make you see that they can see that they made mistakes, you know, all that. Like, they just mistreat you, use you, manipulate you, and not even care about you, not even be able to express themselves. Even if they do care about you, there are people who actually did care about you, but they were so too unconscious to even be able to express themselves, to kind of like heal you after they've hurt you, right? To kind of like show you that they understand, they've learned from their mistake. You know, sometimes it's not even about you being with those people anymore, but it's about them understanding what they've done. That heals you, because it shows you that they are trying. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not easy to be good all the time or to be perfect all the time. This realm doesn't make that easy. You see? But yeah, the problem started at the beginning. There was no consent. There was no. It seems like the things that happened that led to you being here, you watching this video, a lot of these things weren't made from a place of from a place of like thoughtfulness, right? Where there was like, oh, look, here's what we're creating, and this is the kind of world that we should. Okay, let me show you what I actually mean. Let's say we created an artificial world, and people can go to they can go and live in that world for as long as they want. There will be proper planning. There will be, we'll know why that world exists in the first place. Like, what are people going to experience in that artificial world, right? And how do they get to experience what they want to experience? How do we make it easy? And how do we, and this is also very important, how do we keep on improving? So of course, there's never truly going to be a perfect system, but there can always be improvement. You see, I just bought Galaxy S25 Ultra. It's not perfect, but it's great. It shows that Samsung is improving. First Samsung phones were not, the cameras were not that good. Now the cameras are competing with actual cameras. You know what I'm saying? There's improvement. So if a world is created and there's been thoughts like behind the whole thing, cool. But if it's just something that seems to just be happening randomly, you know, we don't even understand anything really, it just seems to be happening, your thoughts just, you don't even create your thoughts, you don't even know how you get to remember some things and how you do not remember some things, and you don't know how to like control your feelings, and of course things ain't gonna go right, because we are not free. It's like there is this thing that controls us, and we kind of like watching a movie, like you know what I'm saying, like we're not really in control. It just feels as if we are, and maybe we need to feel like we are, so that we'll blame ourselves when things happen. If we go to a tavern to drink alcohol, you know that's the reason. You know a tavern was built for that specifically. A hospital, you know what it was built for. A shop, you know what it was built for. School, I'm not gonna say much about school, but you know, because there are some things that were built for something that you don't think were built for. Oh, these things were built for. That's happened. But you get what I'm saying. So that's the problem with this reality. It just seems like a lot of things that are happening are not really happening because there was a good plan behind everything. I want you to imagine how the world can actually be made a better place. The solution might seem to be simple, but when it comes to implementation, you realize how difficult it will be to make this world a better place. You'd realize that there were systems like this invisible system that were put in place to make us so different that we'll never truly get along. So you can come up with the best solution and you find that there are people that are nah. But there's this person who is just charismatic. They just know how to dance, you know what I'm saying? They just know how to make jokes. Whatever they say goes. People agree with them. They're not really saying much, but people agree with them. People feel like they are right. It sucks. Yeah, you realize that people don't even know what's right. They don't even know what's best. They just know how some people make them feel. So if a person is charismatic enough, they know how to speak in front of people. They know how to be loud. Yeah, you know what we want? We want this mall to be closed because we need time to mourn. You know, it's part of our culture. It's part of this and that. Okay, fine. The mall can close, but how many businesses will be affected if the mall is closed? And if the mall remains open, what's really going to be a problem? What's really going to be the problem? I'm just giving you an example. But I'm just trying to show you that there are people who just know how to talk and speak to our hearts, basically. Not necessarily telling us the truth, but they are saying things in a way that makes us feel something. And we feel like they are right, even if they're not. You see, we've even been trained to listen to philosophers, to fall in love with philosophers, to fall in love with those that can really set us free. So what happens is this. Philosophers will see things as they really are, and they will know what the real solutions are, but they will be so misunderstood that they will become loners and then they write books. That's why people like Nietzsche will just write books. It's like they're not like philosophers don't even socialize that much because they know how messed up things are, and they're just tired. They're like, you know what, man, I'm giving up because of what I know. Because I know that people ain't really gonna do anything to make things better anyway. So I'm giving up. Like, why? What is the point of trying if people are so damn unconscious that they can't really see their own flaws? Like, what is really the point of trying? So they just give up. So they just be like, I'm just gonna be alone. Some of them become misanthrope. Like yo, I just hate the whole thing. There's a reason why humanity seemed to have been trying to make the world better, but it never actually became better. You see, there are people who actually think the world got better. You know, think of people like Jordan Peterson, be like, oh, well, it got better. Look at technology and all of that. No, listen. The only thing that will make the world better is us getting along for real as humanity. You want to know why? If I'm able to create something that's going to change the world, because I care about other humans, I don't just care about myself. I care about other humans. I'm going to make sure that everyone gets to have it. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that everyone gets to have it. I'm not going to use it as a weapon. I'm not going to use it to manipulate people, to collect data so that I'll figure out how I can manipulate people and sell them what I want to sell them. Like, how can I make a lot of money from this? That wouldn't really be my intention. The same way that if you love your family, right? When you want to do something for your family, you're not trying to be an opportunist. Like, okay, what can I get? What's the most I can get if I'm doing this for them? No, you don't look at it that way. It's my family. So the problem is relationships are not improving. Relationships are not working. People are not starting to love one another. So if we're not evolving to be able to love one another as humans, then the world is not getting better. The world just became so good at hiding its own evil. You hear what I'm saying? So it doesn't really get better. It just become good at hiding its own evil. That's it. Now it's easier to hide evil than it was back then. Because we overcomplicated things. So it seems like things have gotten better. You talk about cell phones. Hey, now you can talk to a person who's married. It doesn't mean that the world is... Listen, we weren't even ready for that. What we were ready for was to build relationships. And then after that, now we're able to communicate with other people in the world. Why? Because that will mean that there would be no fights. Like countries will not be fighting. What happened between Ukraine and Russia, because it's like if you give monkeys like guns, if they are not getting along and they've not evolved to be able to get along and truly love each other like that, they will just use these guns to kill themselves because they're not ready. And so that's the problem. So now everything is weaponized because we were not ready to connect. I remember Kevnet sent me a clip of people playing, playing Call of Duty. I'm not really familiar with games, really. So they were playing this game and they were saying some racial slurs and all of that, calling each other names and all of that. I was like, dang. Like, people are now exposing their true nature online because they're free to get away with anything. There's a reason why people seem to be mean on Twitter, right? But when you talk to them in real life, they're cool. So it reminds me of like rappers, like when they're beefing. You find that they'll say the most horrible things to like on their songs, but then when they meet in person, it's like they're cool. You're like, what? I thought you guys were having a beef. Like, yeah, we're having a beef, but it reminds me of dogs, right? Ever seen those videos where dogs will be barking at each other because the gate is closed, and then when they open the gate, those dogs will just start like they'll just keep quiet, and you're like, what? Now you guys can go on, and they'll even try to push the dogs, like push the dog, like, yo, go outside and fight the other dog, and the dog will refuse, and then they close the gate, and then the madness continues. It's like people are just afraid of the consequences of doing dumb things, but they themselves are still They're still not evolved enough to want to actually be good. So we need to be honest with ourselves than to continuously lie to ourselves, because that never made the world better. But I don't think anything can. As long as children are being born without their consent, as long as people are not free to truly be who they want to be, as long as there's still value alignment problem, as long as people are being groomed, you're born into a society that believes in something, so you have to believe in it, otherwise you're going to suffer in that society. Like, as long as it's still like that in the world, we are not working towards people kind of like having some power when it comes to how they want to be, what they want to learn, how they want to grow, what they want to believe in, then we're gonna have problems. And that's why these problems are persisting. That is why this world has never really gotten better. As long as we don't know why we are here, and when we look at how things work, it feels like we are not here for a good reason. As long as we don't know why we're here, there's gonna be problems. As long as we don't know how to control reality. Because there are systems put in place that are making it hard for people to get what they want. So they're like, yeah, can I control reality? Does the law of attraction works? Because, hey, I've been trying it my own way, and it seems like it doesn't work. Does prayer work? Can I just talk to God and be like, dude, come on? Or it means that I just have to follow this system. Will that make my life better? Will that make my experience better? So I really feel wise having been able to realize that I shouldn't have children, bro. Like, I really feel wise. So sometimes I just look at it and be like, Esh, imagine if I had a child, bro. Having gone through things that I've went through, imagine if I had a child. Imagine if I brought a sentient being into this realm. Imagine, just imagine. Just imagine. Stressing every night, like, how do I make this child's life better? Sending that kid to school. I can't teach that. Because if I had money and I had a child, I'd be like, I'm just going to teach you business, kid. You'll be taught, I'll get someone to come and teach you how to read and write, how to use the phone, how to search for information, all of that. This is what you need to learn, because that's what's really important at the end of the day. You're not going to go to school and they teach you how to label a frog. Really? Like, what are you going to do with that information? How does that apply in real? Like, where do you apply that in real life? You say, you know how the frog, the biology of a frog, whatever, but how does that help you? You're still going to be hungry. You're still not going to have money. So I'm just going to teach you business. I'm just going to teach you what matters. From the age of 5, you'll be smarter than kids who are like 15. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be next level because you are learning the right things. But I'm glad that I have not brought someone into this realm. It's not a good realm, and being honest about that is a good thing. It has nothing to do with being weak. It has nothing to do with being a coward. It has everything to do with being real. You know, if we're fighting for something, we must know what we're fighting for. And can we truly turn this into heaven like we believe that we can? Or it will always be like this and we're going to keep on complaining? Like, you know what I think we're going to keep on doing as humans? We're going to keep on doing things that cause negative things to happen and not understand why these negative things are happening. You see, like we're always going to cause this crazy ripple effect, and then we blame others, or we just blame devil. We like to blame the devil without realizing that we're causing these bad things to happen. This reminds me of this quote. I don't know it's from who. This person said something like, if a kid doesn't feel appreciated in a village, that kid is gonna burn the village down. And you'd look at it and just think it's just a quote, but if there are people that were not treating well in society, these people are also going to cause problems in society. That's why we have criminals, people who are stealing, people who don't mind pulling out a pew, pew. People who don't mind doing that. They were never shown love growing up. They were mistreated, they were rejected. I'm just trying to show you that there are things that we do that cause things to happen, and we don't even realize that these are direct results of the things that we're doing. Corruption in our countries lead to crime, right? In South Africa, there's corruption, bro. Like, I'm talking about highest level of corruption. Like here, I've worked for government. I can tell you that corruption is it's so insane, bro. Like you can steal money from government easily, get away with it for years, and it's so that if it's easy for someone who had the position that I had, imagine the people who are at the top who control money. You find that they can buy a speaker that costs 6,000 for 30-something thousand. You're like, what the hell? Listen, man, I have a JBL speaker, JBL 110. Speaker that we bought when I was working for government. It's not even anything close to this speaker. This speaker, I bought it for 6.5 thousand. Dope speaker, like really dope. Like the quality is insane. We needed this speaker so that like when we're going out and we're in a hall, you can use a mic. This speaker is so great, it can handle your voice very well and people will be able to hear you. But how much did we buy the speaker for? 30-something thousand. Corruption. You're like, dang. How is the country going to work? So now a lot of young people are unemployed. They don't even have a chance to get into government and do things, and you get them. So they don't even have it. Like they're outside. So of course, corruption is going to lead to crime, because they'll be like, we gotta eat too, and then you find that someone who has money got robbed. And I'm not saying you're not a victim if you get robbed, but then we don't understand what's causing it. It's like, oh, there's this people who are hungry, who don't have the job, who don't have jobs, who don't have money, who got nothing. They grew up in poverty their whole life. They want something too. So how about we create a world that's balanced, where everyone has an opportunity to make money, so that people don't even resort to that? Because for them to even resort to that, they have to be that desperate, because that is dangerous. You know, someone deciding to rob an ATM, that is dangerous. Cops are everywhere. You can get shot. You can get arrested. No one wants to go to jail. I was watching a video of this guy. So they used to rob taxis. What they will do is they will enter the taxi at the time that they know that the taxi drivers are like going home, like that's their last load. And there will be three. The other guy will sit at the front, the other guy will sit behind the driver, the other guy will sit, the other side where they can see the driver very well. And then when all the passengers have been dropped, then they'll try to rob the driver, take all their money. But they ended up getting arrested and given 20 in prison. Like the guy that was talking was given 20 years, and he says jail is a horrible place, bro. Don't let people lie to you. Like, you could think you're a gangster, but then you get arrested and you get to deal with real criminals. You get to deal with real gangs. These people have been in prison for a very long time. Now they have power in prison. They know how to survive in that kind of world. You don't know. Yeah, they will show you flames, bro. He has seen people that he never thought could get, assaulted in a way that you're thinking now. And then they will get assaulted and be like, damn. So that's how dangerous prison is. So people are afraid to go to prison. But they end up taking desperate measures because they don't know what else to do. Because they've tried everything. They've tried to apply for jobs for years. You find that the person has been trying to get a job for years, bro. Like, you've been applying for a job for more than 5 years and never got a good, decent job. So people become criminals because of corruption. But people don't see that. They just want to blame these people. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be blamed. I'm saying we have to understand that every action has a reaction. You get what I'm saying? The butterfly effect is real. A lot of things happen that don't seem to be connected to the actions that we took before. But actually they do have there is a direct connection. I want to thank you all guys for watching this video until the end. If you watch this video until the end, tell me in the comment, like the video, tell me what you think about the video, share the video. Let's keep on growing. Thank you.